Today I bring you a story, not of Magic the Gathering, not of Yu-Gi-Oh!, but one in the Pokemon world. Well, this last weekend, the Pokemon Championships, the regional championships happened, and a situation unfolded that is very, very, very maddening. I'm pissed off at this. As a father, I would be marching, I gotta say, I've taken a step back. And this is one of those situations where I would be very upset. I would be writing to Nintendo and telling them what I think of how their Pokemon play system is going. And this is absolutely absurdity that I have seen. First off, so during this match, we have Alex Mengchi, I don't know if that's incorrect, and Makani Tran. Makani Tran is a 17-year-old aspiring Pokemon pro. He played at Baltimore. He was in a feature match at Baltimore also. And this comes down to pronouns. This has now gone too far. This is in Baltimore. He was addressed as they, them. Who cares? No one really cares about this situation. If you want to be addressed by pronouns, whatever. That is the way things are. I don't honestly care in the long run. I don't walk into my work demanding people call me something. And if my boss ever asked me what my pronouns were in my work, I would probably be laughed out of the place. It's plain and simple the way things are in the real world. And not one where you're playing games. And this is where games have gone too far. So before this match happened, Makani was asked what his pronouns were. Very nervously, 17-year-old going up against someone that's a seasoned pro with over $34,000 in prize money. Makani has also won some, but not a lot. He's won over $2,000 from everything I've seen. And this was a tournament where he built his own deck, was doing very well in the tournament. These two players are actually 5-0. And before the event, or before the feature event started, they asked what their pronouns were. Nowhere on this screen does it say what their pronouns are. I have seen this in other tournaments, namely Hearthstone, where pronouns get placed up on the screen. There is no place for this on the screen. No one gives two craps that they're even there in the first place. So there is no reason this was a question. It was only for the commentators to be able to address them as they see fit. That's the only reason why this would be something there. Now, in Baltimore, they were never asked. Makani was never asked his pronouns. So this came as quite a shock to him, and he just kind of nervously laughed and said, I don't know, like, he, him? Like, honestly, if you don't give thoughts to this, and you don't think of this, and you are inclusive to everyone around you in the first place, and don't go out of your way to make a big deal about it, then that's not something you're going to think of. That's not something you're going to do. Well, the judge at the time, after this conflict where the judge had asked him twice what his pronouns were, and I am familiar with this type of judge situation, they asked him twice, and then the third time after the match. This has created a conflict in the sense in the Pokemon world and in tournament organizing at its best, where it shouldn't be something that is straight up there. If you want to know what your pronouns are, if this is such a big deal that you need to know what people's pronouns are, they should be written down on the REL sheets at the very beginning of the event in case you get a feature match. This should not be something judges need to interrogate you walking up to the feature match. This is not something that should be dictated at the time, especially when nerves are running high, and this is a 5-0 match that's going to decide probably the top 16 or top 32 at this large tournament that people have paid upwards to $800 to attend. That's including travel, hotel, and the entry fee just to be in there. Now, this kid, the 17-year-old kid, has been disqualified from this because he laughed giving his pronouns. And the judge at the time took offense to that. The judge also, at the time when he had asked, referred back to the kids saying that they are they them pronouns and don't make fun of it. That literally ad-libbing what they said in his twit-longer statement. There is a very, very long statement here. I will link this down below if you guys want to read this. It's absolutely unbelievable how far this went. It even goes into the point where the kid was in tears because he was disqualified. He asked to appeal, and they said no because it's the Pokemon play justification that he be disqualified. And then 10 minutes later, he was escorted out of the event where the judges ripped his wristband off. Yes, they cut it off with scissors, but they removed his wristband. This is absolutely ridiculous. The kid is suicidal after this. It breaks my heart as a father to read this. I am pissed right off at this, and I have never seen something so blatantly thrown at someone's face. This is something where in the Magic the Gathering world, you would have been, the judge would have been went up one side and down the other, as far as I know, because I have never seen something like this in the Magic the Gathering world. This is absolutely absurd in a trading card system, and Nintendo should be stepping in on this one. Now, this is going even further. PokeDad, DOM, Texas organizer. This, I don't know where this is from. I'm guessing it's in the Pokemon play or the Pokemon Discord. He was DQ'd because he was BMing, bad-mouthing. Apparently he was bad-mouthing his opponent during the entire match. Was he now? Was he? The entire match is here. So, he was bad-mouthing him during the entire match?
And that's just how you see this deck play out.
I don't know. I'm listening to the commentators. They sound positive about it.
So definitely that's two prizes Alex can take pretty much any time he wants. We're going to see
he's barely talking. You can see him up here in the corner. He's barely talking. He's not bad-mouthing nobody. Bad-mouthing his opponent the entire match. When told by the judges to stop, the judges never intervene. I don't care what I can do and what I want on top of the other comments. Where is this being made up from? He was doing this all while during his streamed match. So they were already planning a DQ for him after game one. Then they pulled the stream, got him down, both down, and had all the paperwork ready to go. When they DQ'd him, if we go into this stream, I'm going to mute this and wind it to the end. Right here. Right? They're looking around. This is Alex looking around. You know, and the judge at the table is there holding up his hand. I don't know what's going on. And they're both just shuffling up. And now they both have stopped shuffling at this point. And they're looking at each other like, what's going on? They don't know what's going on, and they cut it right there. And that's when they pulled them both off. They pulled them both off the table and disqualified him. He attempted to plead his case. He asked to appeal, and he was denied and was just told, no, you're disqualified, and that's it. This young kid missed school, paid his own way there, built his own deck, went 5-0, got onto a feature match, and got disqualified from a tournament that he has worked all his year to get there. Pretty ridiculous. The statement was made on Twitter. A lot of people have come out talking about it. There's a lot going on here in particular. It's absolutely ridiculous that now if you stumble pronouncing what your pronouns are, or if you're nervous, if you're a 17-year-old kid, and this is the way he gets treated in a Pokemon tournament. This is absolutely appalling. I've seen a bunch of other things going on in the Pokemon world that is absolutely appalling to hear. It's absolutely ridiculous, the stories I'm starting to hear out of Pokemon, and I'm appalled. I'm sickened by it. Mankini here, I think he's a young man that is going to go far in the Pokemon world if he keeps his head on his shoulders. Now, there is a bit of good news coming out of this. Yes, the good news is someone set up a GoFundMe for this kid. He's raised $2,000, so his money is going to be refunded. I think, honestly, he should be filing a lawsuit against the judges and against Pokemon Play in this circumstance, but he is an aspiring pro, so he'll probably just let it go. Especially considering I watched another person's video on this, and that's where I'm learning a lot of these things in the Pokemon world, which is absolutely appalling to hear about. Now, this is where the story takes a turn, and I'm not into... I think there's a little bit clouded here. Now, Verseless, I don't even know who you are. Verseless Wolf, he seems to be a furry. He's seen as a YouTuber not friendly in the Pokemon world. Very much so of things that I see around here some days. I see around YouTube, where it's a polarization of people out there. Mankini says, you do not have my permission for this and don't make it a bigger deal than it already is. I'm sorry you put up the twit longer. It's already public knowledge. And because of the public knowledge, things are going to go out there. A lot of people are telling him to take down the monetization on his video, but this is YouTube. If you take down the monetization on the video then gets buried, and YouTube still puts ads on it and takes the monetization for themselves. We're content creators. This is what we do. Honestly, it's public info at this point, and that's the way it's going to be. And I gotta say, Mankini would have signed forms to be on stage here also that would also put his image into the public face. Yes, he's 17. So there's that line there. There's a lot going on here. Now, this to me looks more of just hatred towards the YouTuber, because the YouTuber is talking about it, and it sounds like this YouTuber has been talking out about this situation or these situations for quite a long time and being ignored by a lot of the staff and a lot of the judges, much the same way that I see other YouTubers in the Magic the Gathering realm. Stuff I've seen in the past. This is it's almost identical to what I've seen in the past. It's ridiculous to talk about, and it's just silly at this point. Like, he's getting ratioed on his posting of this with people telling him to take it down because he's gaining personal benefit out of the video. The video is very informative. It actually tells you a lot of what's going on. So if you guys want to see more on this, you can go to his video and seek it out and look more of this. And I've never been so upset, and I can see why. Yeah, he's only got 5K views on this, and he's over 400,000 subscribers. So there's something going on here. Obviously, he's been buried, and a lot of people don't like him. And most of what I saw in his video is bringing up the actual rules. He actually read out the twit longer. I don't see much objectively wrong with this video other than it's being objective and actually showing what's going on in the Pokemon world, which is absolutely absurd at this point for me to hear about it at the empty. You know what? This is why I've stepped away from Magic the Gathering. It's ridiculous to hear about everything else that I'm hearing about. I'm thoroughly appalled by this. It's disgusting. And if this is the way our fandoms are going, it's the culture of it all is completely ripping it apart, and that needs to stop. Everyone was already inclusive to each other, and this wedge had to be driven in between it by people that want nothing more than a power grab. And that is why it's sickening. People want to go have fun. It's not fun when you have to sit there and explain yourself because your pronouns are unforeseen. Anyway, I'm your proud Canadian Phoenix. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And I gotta say one other thing here. Every challenge along the way with courage I will face. I will battle every day to claim my rightful place. Come with me, the time is right. There's no better team. Arm in arm, we'll win the fight. It's always been our dream. And that is straight from the Pokemon song, the second verse. That's something that I think rings true here, except the challenge that Makani was put was not fair. It was not something he could win because he was overburdened by the judges of this tournament. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe.